might make you sick.
This is the Health and Wealth Radio Network.
All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
Double toil and trouble, fire burning, cauldron bubble.
From our super secret studio, where we have heard that the bubble in the stock market could pop at any time, David Ernest brings you the Health and Wealth Show. Call David now at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. Too Tall Matthew, Princess Leah, or David Ernest can tell you what to do to stay safe when the bubble pops. And now, let's have a warm welcome for the money man with the money plan. It's David Ernest.
Welcome to the Health and Wealth Show, and I see him there. If you could see him like I see him, oh, it's like there's a nimbus glowing around his head. You know, in them old pictures when you see like a halo thing, a nimbus, it's like the man who has come to save us from financial ruin. Ladies and gentlemen, asset preservationist par excellence, it's David Ernest.
Thank you, Rusty.
Oh no, wait, that's a light bulb behind your head. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's just a halo.
I thought it was a halo. It's kind of sort of a halo.
Yeah. You know, speaking of halos, we're still in the halo of the last crash that happened that took our stash. If you were in the market, luckily I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But it took a lot of people's cash, their stash, their stocks, and they say, well, we're way up now. Well, if you look at history, you know that bubbles repeat themselves. History repeats itself. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. There's toil. You toil for with your labors. The fruits of your labors are that you've built up these assets. Your trouble is that you may not be able to keep them because of what? The bubble. And of course, the toil and trouble. You know, even the witches knew, even the witches brew knew that it could be trouble down the road. But you know, there's been quite a few folks that have tried to predict things about when things are going to happen and all this stuff. But there's been quite a few. One of them's name was Jeremy Grantham. Now, Jeremy has repeatedly warned investors they're caught in a historic bubble and careening toward a devastating crash. And people, you know, when you hear this over and over and over, you become desensitized. You know, you're going to get it if you don't stop that. You're going to get it if you don't stop that. How many times when we were kids, we heard, yeah, well, I didn't ever get it, you know, and then they get it. They really do get it when they get it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he is the historian that's best known for calling the last three market bubbles. He's best known for that. He has highlighted several signs of impending doom, including investor euphoria. Again, the desensitization that we're in, the excessive valuations, we call those PE ratios, or whatever you want to call them. They're just horribly high, you know, sort of like pie in the sky. I like pie, but I don't like it to fall out of the sky on top of me.
Oh, unless you got a big plate to catch it on.
I guess so. and rampant speculation on risky assets such as meme stocks, sort of like the dot-coms were, and maybe others now. I won't mention them. And the cryptocurrencies, of course, they're sort of meme. There's, so the best quotes that he has recently said is one. He said, "My confidence is rising quite rapidly that this is, in fact, becoming the fourth real McCoy." That's one of the things he said. I don't know how many people are old enough to remember the Real McCoy show.
Luke, Pepita, get the cows in the barn. It's a twister. It's a twister. No, that's a different show. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Walter Brennan, Richard Crenna. Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes all the way back to the Sergeant York. He was the preacher in Sergeant York,
And
good job at it.
Walter Brennan, when he was born, he was 37 years old. I mean, he just was old. I never seen a picture of him where he looked like he was young. He was old when he was born.
He's always old.
Yeah.
He's always old and wise.
But I always love to see him in a movie or the real McCoys. Yeah.
Yeah, right. He's the real McCoy. The market can go up. Here's another saying. The market can go up on bad news and go up on good news. Those are characteristics of bubble, 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 all in trouble, trouble, trouble around the corner potentially. There's nothing much you can throw at it when it gets going. In other words, buy it, it goes up, sell it, it goes up, doom, it goes up, good, it goes up, bad, it goes up. Nobody believes anything but up. Here's another one. I've never had any illusions about my ability to time the bubble breaking. Who knows when things are going to break? I have a very low definition of success. It's that sooner or later the market will be lower than the point at which I suggested you should get out. People ask me all the time, when should I get out, David? Well, I don't know.
And you say,
get out now while the getting's good is all I can say. Well, no, it has a lot to do with your age and how much money you've accumulated. In other words, if you didn't accumulate much money, then you're not going to lose much money. If you've got a long time. Now, if you're, if you got a long time for it to come back, in other words, you're 20, 30 years old, it's probably not going to matter that much if you're doing the right things. But the majority of investors today, this could very well be the most important event of your invested lives. Here we are again, waiting for the dance and eventually for the music to stop. That's another one of his sayings. When you have reached this level of obvious super enthusiasm, the bubble has always, without exception, broken in the next few months, not a few years. He said that. There's just more, a lot of saying, but this man's been right over and over and over. Now, we know that history repeats itself. We know that we've got bubble, toil and trouble around the corner. Look, I just came back from a convention in California. I talked to a lot of people. There was over 200 investment advisors out there, insurance and securities and all of it. You know what the biggest thing they're concerned about and they were asking other people and leaders about and trying to talk about?
How about when they changed Darren's on Bewitched?
Well,
maybe that was the second thing they were most, other than you got the first thing. That was probably the second thing. What were they worried about?
Bubble, toil and trouble.
What you've been talking
when's it going to
about.
happen? When do you think this is going to happen?
Right.
Do you think this year it won't be this year? Well, some people were saying, well, it probably won't be this year, and here's why. It probably won't be until this and this and this and this happens, but you never know. And here's another saying. I sympathize completely with these people out there enjoying this bubble. When my kids were little, they just loved bubble baths. They enjoyed those bubble baths. They had such fun playing and shooting at the bubbles and blowing the bubbles. You've seen kids blowing bubbles, but then the bubble popped. Oh, Dad. Oh, Pops. Oh, no. Well, here's another bubble, baby. Let's blow another bubble. That's what the economy does. Well, that's all right. We got more bubbles coming. We got more bubbles. Don't worry about it. There's more bubbles. You want a bubble and brew? Okay. Well, what about the bubble that just popped? Well, it's gone now, Sonny. Just like Marmaduke said, it's gone now, Sonny. Well, you say, well, I still own the stocks. Yeah, some of them, maybe. But some of them are gone now and forever. Remember the dot-com companies?
Oh, yeah.
90% of them gone with the wind. And when? Nobody knew when. They just knew that it couldn't hold up. Look at cryptocurrencies. A lot of folks are saying, and I don't know, I'm not telling you this. I'm just saying this is just food to think about. Could cryptocurrencies be like the dot-com companies? Are we in the dot-com era with cryptocurrency in a way? In other words, 90% of them are going to go away, maybe 95% of them. Where's the other 10% or 5% that might stay? Where are they? Who are they? What are they? And remember, nobody knew what's going to happen 20 years from now. And for you guys that are about to retire, do you really care what's going to happen 20, 30 years from now? Are you caring about what's going to happen tomorrow or today or in the next few months with your retirement money? What are you really concerned about? You want to just keep on blowing bubbles? Well, if you do, I'll send you a bubble kit and you can you can play all you want. You can get on that TD Ameritrade. You can call your stockbroker. You can do all. Look, it's okay if you're blowing bubbles on the side. Everybody's blowing a few bubbles on the side. But if bubbling is all you're thinking about, if bubbling is your whole life, if bubbling is all your money, bubble, toil and trouble, something might happen to your bobbling bubbles.
Your bubbles might just blow out. They might just pop. Then where are you going to be?
Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you where you don't want to be is in that place that we just mentioned. And a place that you do need to be is near your telephone. And as a matter of fact, you should probably pick it up now and write these numbers down or punch them into your phone. 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. That'll get you in touch with David Ernest, maybe Too Tall Matthew or Princess Leah. Set up a no obligation consultation. Go over to see them. You can still do it on the Zoom if you want to, if you're still kind of worried about getting out and about because of the Chinese virus is still out there wreaking havoc. You know, time waits for no man, so don't waste your time and call David today. That way you'll be ready for tomorrow and your portfolio and your retirement will be set for the big day when you get ready to go fishing. Call them today. That's Ernest Financial, LLC, 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. Or you can write your name and your number on a $20 bill and drop it off by my house, and I'll make sure they get the message.
Maybe they could make it into one of those paper airplanes.
Yeah, just toss it over here. I'll catch it.
Yeah. Here's another thing that he's talked about. He says, I sympathize completely with these people out there enjoying this bubble, but they've always ended very badly. And I have no doubt this one will too. He said that February 2021. Wasn't that long ago. Here's another one. He said, we will have to live potentially with the biggest loss of perceived value from assets than we have ever seen in the history of the world. He said that May 2021. Here's another one. He said, people are having fun and they'll lose everything in the end. And I'm sorry for them because I'm sure they can't afford to lose everything.
Right.
You know, I mean, like, really, I don't really want to afford to lose anything, not just everything. But, you know, bubbles are unbelievably easy, he said, to see. It's knowing when they bust will come. That's the tricky part. You see it when the markets are on the front pages instead of the financial pages, when the news is full of stories of people getting cheated, and when new coins are being created every month. He said that in July 2021. Another thing he said, this bubble is the real thing and everyone can see it. It's as obvious as the nose on your face. He said that July 2021. There's another one he said, you knew last year this bubble was going to be the real McCoy, but you didn't know if it was going to continue. Just more and more stuff. He's equating 1929 and 2000 to these dates, this present day. He says there's a bigger buy-in this time to the idea that prices never decline. People are believing it.
Mm-hmm.
People are accepting, well, it's not going to go down. Well, you know, I thought it'd be going down by now. I'm going to get out. Or, oh no, I can't afford to get out. Let's get back in. We can't afford to get out. Then all these articles being written, don't get out, because if you get out, you're going to lose a lot. It's a melt up. It's a melt up. It's not a meltdown. It's a melt up. There's a bigger buy-in this time to the idea that prices never decline and that all you have to do is buy than there has ever been. When the decline comes, it will perhaps be bigger and worse than anything previously in the United States history, he said. He said that in November of 2021. You know, it's just more and more and more stuff. Now, what's really going to happen? I don't know. I have no other idea. This is beyond me. What is going to happen, when it's going to happen? I'm fully convinced personally, after talking to 200 brokers in over 200, you know, a bunch of them, when I was in California, listening to their, I didn't talk to 200 individually, but I talked to people who talked to people who talked to people. And we heard it, they were standing on the podiums and the stage and talking. Mm-hmm. And the biggest question was, is this a bubble? And the answer is, we think so. How big is the bubble? Well, it's pretty big. Is there going to be something become of it? Are we going to suffer tremendously or just a little bit? You know, or is it going to be just an average correction? Well, here's where they don't think it could be an average correction. Some people do, some people don't. It would be an average correction if it was an average time. It would be an average correction if it had gone up an average amount before it corrected. A lot of people say, well, this time is different. Really? Why? Oh, well, you know, there's nowhere else to go. What do you mean there's nowhere else to go? You can't get these kind of returns. You go to the bank, they don't pay you anything. Guys, they're about to raise the interest rates. They may raise these rates up to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8%.
And
what do you think that's going to do?
Did they say that was to help curb inflation?
Yes.
Now, you know, I got to that part about 2 and 2 is 4, but I don't understand that. Can you explain to me how raising the interest rates is going to make inflation stop?
Well, I can explain to you how will slow inflation down, because it did it in the 70s.
Dumb it up for me now so I can get it.
All right. When money is really, really easy to come by, you can borrow it. So people are just, when people can borrow it, the government's printing the money and everything, there's a flood of it out there. As the interest rates go up, people don't want the money as much because they got to pay dearly for it in the end. So they back out, and then the government starts pulling more money out of the economy with their central banks. They take the money out of the economy. There's less money being pumped into the economy and more taxes that are sucking it out. And quite frankly, more stock drops suck it out. A lot of people say, well, wait a minute. The government's not sucking it out with a stock drop. Are you kidding me? Think about it. It's a bubble. If it goes down, then the government don't have to worry about sucking it out. Duh. So would the government use this as ammunition to rectify the pie in the sky? Have they disguised it so that it looks like pie in the sky, and really it's just to rectify the sins of the fathers and the forefathers before us that caused all this debt? I think so. I think probably so. Why? Because it solves the problem. Will people suffer? Yeah, tremendously. Do they care? I don't know. Did they care in 1929? It lasted 25 years. We had wars, all kinds of things in between. I don't know that they really cared that much. I think what they cared about their own hide, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah.
I think they cared about their own power, if you want to know the truth. I think they cared about their own bank accounts, if you want to know the truth, just like typical politicians. Typical politicians, they don't really care. All they want is more power and more money for themselves. They're greedy, or else they wouldn't be politicians. Do we agree? I mean, that's just the way it is.
Oh, yeah.
We got some politicians that are our favorite politicians, but the fact is they're still politicians.
Oh,
You know.
by the way,
Yes.
we've had a cold snap. You know, it's cold in Washington, D.C. You know how it is so cold in Washington, D.C.
How cold is it?
It was so cold that the other day I saw a politician had his hands in his own pockets. I mean, that's how cold it was.
That's pretty dang cold.
That's cold.
That's cold. Because usually they got their hands in everybody's pockets.
Except
Everybody's
theirs.
pocket.
That's
except
right.
theirs.
I'll tell you.
You know, I tell you what, they're really good at pickpocketing. They belong probably down there on Bourbon Street, if you know the truth. I went down to Bourbon Street one time and I was going down the sidewalk there. My wife was screaming and yelling, turned around. Some guy was trying to get something from me. I turned around. He looked at me and said, "Excuse me, sir. I thought you somebody else." I said, "You're not pickpocketing me because it's in the front pocket, son. It's not in the back pocket." But anyway, that's what you got to do. You got to keep it up there where you can watch it.
A preemptive strike.
Exactly.
There you
And that's
go.
what we do at Ernest Financial. We keep the assets up there in a safe pocket so that they can't pickpocket with a stock market drop.
There you go.
How do we do it? Give us a call and we'll tell you how we do it. It's real simple.
It's
real
just that simple. Everybody's got a cell phone or access to a phone or a telegraph or smoke signals, whatever. You need to get a message to David Ernest. The best way is to do it by phone. Grab your phone or somebody else's phone. Make sure you give it back. This ain't New Orleans. And you can call David at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I wanted to mention that David also has a website, retirewithernest.com. You can get in touch with him through that. I think the numbers are on the website, retirewithernest.com. Go there and check it out because just about everybody's on that World Wide Web too. And once you get in touch with him, make sure that you make yourself a no obligation consultation appointment. You can go by and see them. You can do it on Zoom, do it on Facebook, however you want to communicate. They're going to get it done. And you'll find out how easy it is to take that money that's just kind of sitting there, just wishing it could do something for you and put it to work for you. Yeah, that's right. You get in some of these programs. Some of them even have this ridiculously large bonus. Not all of them, but some of them do. And, you could make money the first day. But you've got to call. You got to pick up that phone and call David Ernest, 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. Call today. We need to get some people don't do bumper stickers much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They used to be a big thing, bumper stickers, but they make these little clear cling things that go on the window.
Yeah.
We need to see about getting some clings made. And they're about the size of a bumper sticker, but they don't go on your paint and everything. And you could just get them right off, but that would be neat to have people riding around with your phone number on the back of their back, as my grandpa used to say.
I'd be willing to try to handle it.
On the back glass. Well, we'll have to check into that.
Well, there's a lot of people out there need some clinging onto their money. And if they can cling that to their back window, whatever, maybe it would help other people save their money. That's a good idea, Rusty.
And, next time we go out somewhere where we have traffic, where people come by, we'll say, if you come by and you got one of our clings on the back, Well, we might have a prize for you.
Ooh, I
So
like
that goes
even
back in
better.
that goes back in the radio days.
You're thinking like a radio guy.
let me
I'm thinking
jump
like
off,
an investment guy.
let me jump off the topic for a second. Tell a radio story.
Okay.
I was out somewhere one day many years ago doing a remote,
Mhm.
remote broadcast on the air for 2 or 3 hours, and telling people about this one place. I was out there, and we had a trip to the beach.
Ooh.
It was 2 days, 3 nights, or whatever they do at the beach. 2 nights, 3 days, whatever.
Well, I don't know
And-
what they do at the beach anymore, but I don't know.
And it was all paid for. It was all free.
Hmm.
Well, I said the next person that comes by, and I said, if you're dressed for the beach,
Mhm.
I'll give you the trip.
Ooh.
Well, I'm sitting there and standing there. Well, here comes this big old car. It comes across the median, up over
Oh.
the things, and bumpity, bumpity,
Uh-oh.
bumpity, bumpity. It comes
Uh-oh.
up sideways, and this little old gal jumps out, and she's got on her blue jeans and her t-shirt and everything. And I said, well, you're not dressed for the beach. And kids full of cars full of kids, 4 or 5 little youngins in the back seat, just screaming, hollering, carrying on. She said, and she looked down, there was a bunch of bumper stickers there. And so she said, give me the bumper stickers. And she took the bumper stickers. She said, watch my kids. And she takes off. She went into the ladies' room. She comes back about 5 minutes later. She has fashioned herself a bikini out of these bumper stickers.
I've heard them all.
She ain't got nothing on except these bumper stickers stuck all over. I give her the thing to the thing. She goes back and she gets her clothes. And
She was bumper to bumper.
Yes, she was. She gets in the car, and I said, now, that's very creative. I said, but just be careful. She said, be careful. I said, yeah, you're going to get to a point where you taking them things off. It ain't going to be pleasant.
Oh, no.
But she went to the beach.
Kind of sticky.
She went to the beach, and that's the thing. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get what you
Yeah,
want. And if you
that's
want
right.
that retirement, you got to call David Ernest, 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. Remember the website, retirewithernest.com, and we're going to take a short break.
But Rusty, before we take that break,
Yeah?
if we did do all these things and save a retirement, just think of all the money we could all meet down on the beach, and then we could have some beach fun.
We can see if that gal's still down there with her bumper
Oh,
sticker to bikini.
We
on.
could. We could see things like that. Well, I don't know.
That was
Anyway.
that was some years ago. I don't know if that bikini might have shifted. I don't know.
You may have.
It may have. Stay where
Just
you
like
are.
the market's liable to shift, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
another story.
Well, stay where you are. We'll be back with more of the Health and Wealth Show in just moments or minutes.